800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Got a deck carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the floor store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you from the floor store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood
I have the keys.
all of your flooring.
I changed the doorknob.
At 405 West Henderson
So
Street.
I will find it.
Owner Brent Harris can help.
Okay, I have a backup to it.
Even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The floor store. They got you covered.
Wilfred Brimley for Loaf and Dog.
In studio camera.
You know what I get to do?
Yeah, you silly.
I go to Cleveland, Texas.
I would never.
Walks off the square and get loaf and dog.
Nice, you goober.
They got the meat.
Okay, see the white tab? On the top, there's like a texture, you feel like lines.
Place your dog.
Okay, just spin it.
The Jim dog. Can't forget the Shane dog. Or the
No, you're hitting the wrong knob.
I like that.
Yeah, or go the other way.
The dog and the Braxton dog round things off. They even got a kid's menu too.
Loaf and Dog, 208 East Chambers Street, Cleveland, Texas. Lunch, catering, or takeout, plus outdoor seating. Phone numbers 817-556-1040.
This is Wilford Brimley. And don't forget, Loaf and Dog won't give you diabetes.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Lease Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson, Cleveland, Texas. Lease Brothers has been family-owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth, open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at tunein.com.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. It is Positivity Toolbox and it is Monday. So we're going to start our week off right. I need this myself. I'm not going to lie. It's been a really hectic week, but I have a very, very, very special guest with me today. Some plans had changed with my previous guest. That's okay, because I'm really excited to have this guy on my show today. Why don't you tell him who you are, honey?
I am her lovable son.
He is, yes. Sometimes when you're not in your room.
My room is my sanctuary.
It really is. I know. I understand. I get it. But tell him who you are. Like, you haven't given him your name yet.
I am Nathan. I am her son. There's not much more to tell.
Okay. He is my wonderful son. He's very intelligent, and he's a magician and a singer, and he can play musical instruments. This kid, like, is there anything you can't do? I think a lot of people say that to me. So it's just perfect that
it's genetic.
It's genetic. Yes. I think it's perfect that they say it to you now too.
Oh man.
They're like, what does this kid not do? Like, he's just like his mom.
Well, I mean, I don't own a business yet, so that's a thing.
Well, you will soon enough. Okay, wait.
Soon enough. Yeah. It'll happen eventually.
It'll happen eventually for sure. Because I know you're on the right track. You're on the road of success. You just got to figure out exactly which successful adventure
the road
you
to
want.
Success is a bumpy one.
It's going to be, honey. I'm telling you. I think we've talked about that though too, haven't we?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So I guess today we're going to talk about, the importance of positive communication with our kids. And, that is not always easy when being a parent, right? I mean, you don't know yet, but you know that I have not always had the best opportunities to be able to communicate with you sometimes the way I probably would like to.
It works both ways.
Yeah. Okay. Well, explain a little bit on that. Let's elaborate.
Communication is really difficult, especially like changing ages. Whenever you're really young, communication is pretty easy. I mean, whenever you're first born, communication is hard. You have to communicate with your hands and with loud noises
Right.
and crying. That's really big. Whenever you get a little older, it's a lot easier to communicate because you don't really have a filter at a young age. You kind of just say whatever on your mind. And sometimes
You
it gets
sure
into
did.
trouble. I
Okay, go ahead.
remember a little bit, yeah. And the other times it's just you say what's on your mind. You enjoy talking to your parents at a younger age, like 6 to 10. After you hit 10, maybe 11 or 12, you start getting kind of more into yourself. You kind of being more more of a closed book, maybe a little bit more embarrassed about talking to your parents because it's your parents and it's not cool to talk to your parents at
But it really
teenage
is.
years. It really is, absolutely. And it's super helpful to talk to your parents or to be able to talk to your parents.
Yeah.
I mean, after you hit 18, it just goes wild.
It does.
It just goes wild. Communication with your parents is completely different, for sure.
Yeah. And how so? Why would you think? What makes you say that?
Well, because now I can say anything without consequence, really.
Well, I mean, you didn't really have consequence with me before, per se.
There was consequence. I was never bad.
No.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
I obviously made mistakes, but I was never bad.
No, you've always been a really good kid.
There's definitely consequence whenever there needed to be consequence.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think one of the things with you is like you are so intelligent that sometimes having a conversation with you is like, okay, I get that you're really smart. Okay. But mama's lived longer than you.
Yeah. You definitely have more experience. I am not much smarter than you are by any means whatsoever.
Yeah, but you went through that phase where you thought you were.
Oh, absolutely. And every kid does. Every kid goes to the phase where they're just smarter than their parents, for sure. They know better.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Their parents, they're just parents.
Right.
They're not you.
No.
The universe revolves around you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's Nathan-centric at that point.
I like that. Nathan-centric. All right. That's a good one. I like that a lot.
And I mean, sometimes there are points where it's still Nathan-centric for me. There are some times when it's been like a rough day and I'm like, I want it to go my way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that inhibits my communication skills.
Yes. I understand that. I mean, that's why I started doing like a mantra because for me, it's kind of the opposite. Like when I feel that, things aren't going my way, I start to get more like, and I'm sure you've seen this at, me being your mom, I started to be like more like a recluse, right? I started to and that's not like me. I'm a butterfly, right? So when I get into this recluse, like quiet, where I'm not talking to anybody, I don't want to talk to anybody, that's when things are just really piling on me. And I have to break myself out of that. And so my mantra that I've started to say to help me get out of that is everything goes my way in time.
I like that.
Right. I started saying that every morning, everything goes my way in time because it's not on my timing. It's not our timing ever. It's in its own time. It's the time when it's supposed to occur. It's the time that it's supposed to happen. And if we continue to have that mindset, and we say that everything goes my way in time, then we start manifesting it. We start putting it into effect. We start, we start believing it more too, right?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it is a belief system. Everything is a belief system. If we really don't believe it, or we half believe it or halfway believe it, then it's not really going that we're confusing the universe.
Right. Believing is everything.
Believing is everything. Yes, absolutely. So in order to truly believe it, and our mindset, sometimes our mind and the way we've been taught kind of can sometimes prevent us from that. It's that limits that we were talking about earlier, right?
Yeah.
That vocabulary that we have that promotes that limitations and the limitations that we put on ourselves that are not helping us with our belief system in order to put it into full effect, in order to, provide that to the universe that, look, this is really what I want. I'm not trying to confuse you by no means at this point. Like now I'm giving it to you straight. Right. And so now the universe can actually say, okay, I get it. I get this person. This is what they really want. This is what they're striving for. This is what they're going for. They actually 100% believe it with no limitations, with no, no controversy, no back and forth, mind changes that happens and occurs. It's actually really what they want. So now it can really go into effect.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah.
Do you see that? He's like, yeah, mom. Yeah, you lost me like 5 minutes ago.
I was listening.
No, I know you were.
understand,
I know.
understand.
I gotta put some comedy out here.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna happen.
It is.
It's
It's
you and
going
me
to happen.
talking
Exactly.
for a
Exactly.
long period of time.
For an
There's gonna be-
hour. You have to talk to me for an hour. How do you feel about this?
It's about as much as I talk to you during the day anyway. But
Not true. Like I get Snapchats and
oh, that's true.
I get phone calls and
A lot
text
of the time
messages.
I'm at work though.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't text much when I'm at work.
No, you're very quiet when you're at work.
Mhm.
Yes.
It's work.
It is work. But you're a worker. And who I feel like Daddy D had some impact on you on that. And your dad too. I feel like your dad did too. They're hardworking men.
I want to say that it was military school.
Okay. Oh,
Absolutely. I think it was the fact that I wanted to go, or I guess military camp the first 2
Yeah.
years.
we should talk about that because I think that was a really good impact. That had a really great impact on you. And I wasn't sure at first, but you really wanted to go, which was shocking to me.
So that's only because I was forced to go the first month. So
Mhm.
whenever I was 14 or 15, no, 14.
Okay. Okay.
I went 13, 14, and then I started school at 15.
Okay. I gotcha.
The first year of camp, it's summer camp. From
Right.
like July 1st, I think it's like June 30th, all the way to July 24th or 23rd. And you
Okay.
just spend a month in the really, really, really hot sun doing stuff all day. And it's like you wake up early, you do PT, physical training, you go on a run, you eat, and then you're just doing obstacle courses, you're doing the confidence course, you're doing paintball. I mean, there was a whole bunch of fun stuff that was going on.
Oh, that's awesome.
But there was a lot of physical activity.
Yeah.
It put me
Yeah.
in the best shape of my life for sure. And then after that was over, I
remember I was so
glad.
worried about the heat. I was so worried about the heat with you though, but
It got ridiculously hot.
Yeah.
And I was never really good at putting on sunscreen. That's why I don't burn easy now. But it was not the best thing back then.
just like his mom. Okay, go ahead.
Man, always forgetting to do stuff.
All right. It's
Yeah.
okay. That's why that ginkgo biloba, whatever it's called, is very important in our life. But go ahead, tell us some more about this because I think this is really insightful for other parents too. I feel that have young boys that, teenage boys that, maybe they fall. Because I think your motivation, I know you did have a little bit of a lack of a motivation. And I think that's what Daddy D was trying to put on you. Like, hey, if you want something, you got to work for it. And I know he always instilled that in you. But I think you're right. When you went to military school, that's what really had that impact in you and really taught you the importance of getting things done.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, come on, keep telling us some more about this. I love it.
The first month I was really reluctant to go because I was going to be away from anybody I knew for like an entire month. I was going to be 9 hours away.
Yes.
In Harlingen, Texas.
It was so far.
10 minutes away from the Mexican border.
Yeah.
Which was actually a field trip. We went to go to the Rio Grande and we went canoeing and stuff, and we got to tip each other over in the canoes, and then we all got in trouble for it. But it was totally worth it.
I don't remember this story. You didn't tell me this one. What? Okay, keep going.
The biggest part was that there was no break.
Right.
The only break you got was, sleeping. And even then, it was ridiculously hot in the barracks. And you didn't get much sleep. You usually went to bed around 11 or 12 and woke up. I had to wake up at 5:45 every morning.
That's early. I
And
have a hard time getting up that early.
That was in military camp.
Yes.
Military camp was like the really downgraded version of military school.
Oh,
Because
okay.
it was a camp, but it was also a school. It had like a schoolroom. It was a really big school. It was a private school.
Right.
The
Let's
Marine
give the name
Military
of the school
Academy.
too, so that for those that are listening. What's the name of
This
this
is
school?
the Marine Military Academy in Harlingen.
In Harlingen.
Yep.
Harlingen, Texas.
Yep.
Like really close to the border.
Really close, like 10 minutes away from the Rio Grande.
Yeah. Okay.
Which was really fun. And after the first month was over, I remember getting picked up and I was like, I'm so glad that's done. So glad that's done. I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of not fun. And I'm glad that's over.
Wait.
And then the next month came around and I had the opportunity to go back. I was like, sure, I'll go back. And being a second year camper, I got a few awards and I got to be what was considered the guide on. And you have a platoon and everybody's marching in the platoon in their certain order. And it's like a 3 by 6 or 9. And then at the very front, by his lonesome, is the person who holds the flag, the
Okay.
company flag. And we were Echo. That was our company.
Yeah, I
And
remember
I
you were
was the
Echo.
man-
I thought that was cool that you got Echo.
I was the man holding the flag.
Yes.
It was awesome. I got to be the lone wolf in front, kind of leading the platoon. I had special privileges and stuff. There was a downside to the flag.
Oh.
It was heavy.
Oh.
When you went on runs, you had to go running in the platoon,
Right.
which means I had to hold the flag and run 3 to 4 miles every morning.
Did they have a pack too? Did you have to like have like the backpacks like they do in the
Yes,
military
we
as
had-
well?
We had. Well,
so
didn't
you were
have-
loaded down.
We didn't have backpacks. We had camelbacks.
Oh,
They were just like
camelbacks.
little bladders of water on your back so that you
Okay.
could drink.
Gotcha. Which is important.
Very important.
Yes.
Very helpful.
Yeah.
The first month, we were stressed on. The water you're drinking today is going to be the water you use tomorrow. So drink.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And we were like, we're good. We're not thirsty right now. We'll be fine. And then the next day, we're like,
We learned our lesson.
drinking water. Come the second month, I didn't need it to be stressed on. I knew to drink water. As soon as I got there, I was chugging down water, making sure that I had enough. The camelbacks were nice, but they were hard to keep clean.
No, really?
And you kind of just went for it.
Yeah.
Build
So
up
how
that-
did
build
you?
up that
So you
immune
had to
system.
clean them yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Did you guys use peroxide?
No.
See, that's the best way to clean those. I've noticed.
It doesn't always work the best way in military camp.
Okay. Well, I should have sent you some. I should have. I didn't know that was the thing.
No, it was all right.
Okay. But it does
After-
build your immune system. So
After
yes.
military camp came by, and like at the very end of camp, they would always stress about, hey, we also do school. You should come back for school. We have a tuition fee, which was really expensive. It was $45,000 a year to go. Totally worth it though.
Yeah.
I only got to go for 6 months, and it was still really worth it. And they stressed on it, and I was like, you know what? I would love to go to school here. And so I got the opportunity to go to school there. And as soon as I went, going to camp 2 times, I kind of was familiar with everything. There were a lot of really bad kids there. And that was one of the big problems. Is parents would send their kids there because they thought that they needed discipline.
Yeah.
And a lot of kids tried to like rebel.
Right.
Because they're
Right.
like, oh, we don't need no discipline. We know what we're doing and all that.
So were you their life coach while you were there?
Oh,
You're so my son. I love it.
I
Okay,
was
good.
I was in the barracks. You have an upstairs, you have downstairs.
Yeah.
Same company, controlled by different people. We had different CIs, cadet instructors, and we had the same DI. My DI was Sergeant Major Smythe, coolest man on earth.
I like his name. I mean, that just sounds cool anyway.
Could kill you with a look.
Oh gosh.
The most intimidating person, who was at least a foot taller than me whenever I was there. And his wife could cook, and she was the sweetest person alive. And every once in a while, they would come by, and like they invited us to their house at one time, after doing something. Sorry, and
You're squeaking, kid.
yeah, I tend to move around.
Yes, I know. I'm doing the same thing, but mine doesn't squeak.
Being in charge is kind of like being a life coach.
Yeah.
You had to get onto kids, and it wasn't always the most fun thing because you're like, I don't want to get onto these kids. I mean, I know they're doing bad stuff, but I don't want to be that one guy.
Right.
You want to fit in. You don't want to be that one guy. I
Yeah.
ended up having to be that one guy.
So
And
how
there
did you approach that though? Did you approach that with like maybe different from how the adults were doing it, or did you do it exactly the way that the
No, I definitely had my own way of doing it.
Okay.
It
I
depended
believe
on
it.
what it was. If it wasn't bad, you kind of just approach, hey, don't do that. You know what's
Yeah.
wrong. You're going to get in trouble.
Right. Do you want to get in trouble? Is it
Do you
worth
really-
it?
Is it really worth it?
Is it really
exactly.
worth
That
it?
was a really big phrase right there. Is it worth it?
Is it worth it?
And they'd be like, I don't care if it's worth it or not. I'd be like, you're going to be carrying one. You have to do 100 push-ups in a row, which I know you can't do.
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
you should go practice those 100 push-ups whenever you get in trouble for doing that because you're not listening.
You're so great. Okay,
and-
good.
But there were some times I wanted to approach it in a calm manner. I want them to understand, which most kids don't.
Right.
There were a lot of kids who were really good there. I had a lot of good friends in military school, and that was a lot of fun. And I mean, we'd still do a whole bunch of stuff. School wasn't bad. There were a few classes that really kicked my butt. One of them was history for some reason. I've never really had a problem with history until that one class. And that kind of set me up for failure a little bit because I was just not prepared for it.
Yeah.
There were times when there were the rowdier kids, the kids who like were trying to rebel all the time, who would do something where nobody was around that was really stupid. And you had to like get up like all in their face. And like, I wasn't bigger than most kids for sure.
No,
It was
he
a,
kind of got my height more than your dad's.
Yeah, for sure.
Sorry about that.
5'7", not 6'3".
It's okay.
Noah's gonna be up there though.
Yeah, he's going to be taller than his dad, I think.
I hope not.
I think so, honey. I really feel, I've been telling you that for years.
I didn't listen until it happened. I was like, well, dang
Right.
it, they were right.
Yeah, we've been saying it for years, but go ahead. Yeah.
And and it's a confidence thing. You really
Yeah.
have to pretend like you know what you're doing. You have to pretend like you're bigger than them. You have the authority. They have to listen to you. They
Yeah.
don't have to listen to you. It's completely their choice. But if they don't, you can always get a cadet instructor or the DI and they get put in their place. There was one kid that I know of for sure. Venezuela was
Okay.
his last name, because we all went by last names there.
Gotcha. Well, of
And
course. It's military.
he was me and my roommate's headmate. So you have 2 rooms connected by a bathroom.
Okay.
He was on the other room. He was a senior. I was a sophomore. He had really bad case of senioritis. Like, he would get everything. He felt like he deserved everything. Like, he was there and he was the king.
Oh, privileged.
Until
Yes.
the second month or so, when he realized that he was not privileged.
Right.
There was one time when we got in an argument because I was trying to take a shower. It'd been a long day. I was trying to get in the shower. I'd got in before everybody else. I'd ran all the way back after a run, which I love doing. Being the first one back into the company. Then we had a soda machine, 75 cents for a Coke. And they were always out, but they'd restock it every Thursday. And so every Thursday you'd run in with your quarters and you just put a whole bunch of them in there at a time and get a few Cokes and you bring them back to your room. That was at camp, actually. At school, we got the weekend. They would give you $30 a weekend, and you'd get to go on the bus into town and stay within a 10-mile radius of the school. They had like a movie theater, Walmart. Walmart was a big place. Everybody went to Walmart.
Oh, I remember you were always wanting to go to Walmart to get something.
Absolutely. And we had to walk around in our dress greens, which was, green, like the navy green slacks, the tan thing, and the weird looking boat hat. But this kid and I got into a fight because he tried to push me out of the bathroom as I was like getting undressed to get in the shower. And he's like, no, I get the shower first. I get the shower first. And I was like, I'm already in here. I already got the shower going. I'm already ready to go.
Right.
And he's like, I'm a senior. You don't get to tell me what to do. And I was like, we're not in high school. This is military school. And last I checked, I was a little bit above you on the little, roll up here. And I shoved him out of the bathroom, put him on his bed. I said, wait your turn. Close the door. I was shaking a little bit afterwards because I was like, I just did that. This kid towered above me.
Oh my goodness. Sure. Okay. I'm so proud of you. Good job.
And it was really scary. In my mind, I was like, run away.
Right.
But my head,
like Malcolm in the Middle. Okay, sorry. We were watching Malcolm in the Middle last night for dinner.
Yeah, we were.
Okay, go ahead. That kind of reminded me of it.
I don't know. My head was like, run away. The rest of me was doing something completely different. And it ended up working out. He kind of left me alone a little bit after that. Confront the bully.
Yeah, confront the bully.
It does work. It doesn't always work, but it does work a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in that scenario, would you rather be the person who got beat up and didn't do anything about it? Or would you rather be the person who tried to do something about it and still got beat up?
Yeah, right. And at least taught that bully a lesson. Like, look, you can't mess with me. You can try.
Yeah, exactly.
But, and you might win, but I'm still going to stand up for myself.
Yeah.
I think that's important. And it builds confidence.
Oh, absolutely.
That built some serious confidence for you. I can tell just by in this conversation. Yeah.
About like confronting
your role.
People.
Yeah.
My role. I was like, I was put in this place for a reason.
That's right.
I'm going to keep this place. There are a few times when people had been like, I'm taking your job. I'm going to come after you. I'm going to get your job. I'm going to work harder than you. And I'm like, you can't work harder than me.
No.
You can't. You don't have the mindset that I have. I have the mindset.
Right.
Which will keep me on top.
I love it.
Plus, I'm good at talking to the DI and we're friends right now. So.
Y'all are still friends?
I sent him an email a while ago. Whenever I had left military school, I actually had $170 in an envelope that I forgot to bring with me. I was like, I left $170 there. Will you give it to a kid, who's feeling left out?
Aw.
Because there's always that one kid.
Yeah.
For our company upstairs. And that was the big thing. Being in charge of upstairs meant that I had to go to bed at 1 o'clock and I had to wake up at 4:45 every morning.
Oh yeah.
That was like
that's
no
early.
Sleep. And that's kind of like messed up my sleep schedule recently.
I feel like it has. Like I feel like your sleep schedule is you were up like way later than us last night. I'm pretty sure.
I just have trouble sleeping. It doesn't bother me during the day though. I don't like run out of energy easy. I have coffee actually.
Yeah. Mommy made him coffee this morning.
What a privilege. It was such a privilege to wake up to like a full cup of coffee.
Wasn't it nice?
Mm-hmm. No
You're welcome, honey. Oh, what?
Having to keep in charge of the whole upstairs is hard.
Right.
There were 34 kids upstairs.
Mercy.
Yeah. And you had to keep track of all of them. And there was this one kid. His name was what was his name? Lawrence Epson.
Okay.
We called him Larry.
Oh, nice.
Not sure why we called him Larry, but that was my little group was me and Fallon, Thompson, and Larry.
Okay.
That was my little group.
I remember you speaking of Fallon a lot. And what was the other one?
Thompson.
Yeah, Thompson. You talked about Fallon and Thompson a lot. Not Larry as
they
much.
were really Jared and Jared was a really good friend. He introduced me. We were both gamers, and on the weekends you could have your computer, you could have your PlayStation, your Xbox, whatever you had.
That's why I didn't hear from you much on those days.
He had a game that he introduced me to called Dark Souls. And for anybody out there who knows what the game is, it's a very, very, very hard game.
Yeah.
And it like makes you really frustrated, but it's so much fun. So you keep coming back after a little while. You'll get frustrated about a part that you can't get over, and you'll like walk away, and you're like, I hate this game. And the next day you're like, oh, I want to play the game. I want to play the game. I want to play the game. I want to try again. I can try again. I can do it. I can beat it.
That's how I always felt.
Oh man.
With or that's how I feel with the redecor. I know that's silly because it's not. But there's like some pieces that you have to like pay for, and if you don't have the money for it, you're like, I'm not paying any more money for this crap.
That's ridiculous. Having to pay for money and like and all that.
I know it
Totally
makes no
butchered that
sense.
sentence,
It
but
does.
yeah.
All right, we got 2 minutes, so I'm watching the clock for us.
So my big point for the military school part was that it did help a lot of the kids there with their confidence. It definitely helped me.
Yeah.
I realized that I could do a lot more than what I thought I could. And it was like we were talking this morning. I had limitations.
Yeah.
I had a mindset. I had a view of what I looked like compared to everybody else.
Right.
And I was looking at myself based off of what other people were seeing. And so a lot of people were seeing me in a completely different way that I felt, because I would pretend like I knew what I was doing. I would pretend like I belonged there, even when I didn't feel like it. And so when other people would look at me like with the respect that they thought that I deserved, and I was like, I don't know why everybody's following me like this. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but okay.
You're a leader.
And I started feeling like a leader.
Yeah, that's good.
The fake it till you make it thing.
Yeah, it works.
It definitely works.
But then start believing, but that's what helped you start believing in yourself and believing that, that is you. You are a leader and you have the full capability, and there are no limits for you to be a leader. Like you, and then Tiffany, she said, always stand up. David beat Goliath. And that's right.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, that was you facing your limitations and taking them and saying, no, I have no limitations. Why was I thinking I had limitations? I do not. I can do anything that I really set my mind to and that I really want for myself.
Exactly. It really is like speaking it into existence, believing it. I had to look at somebody else believe in me and follow me for me to believe in myself.
Yeah.
Which, lucky it worked out, but
every mom's dream for that to happen. I'm serious, because we want our kids to learn these things, and a lot of times, I mean, it's hard for you to hear it from your parents though. Sometimes I feel like when you were younger, maybe not as much now. I feel like now when we have conversations, it's definitely I feel like you're understanding and like, Mom, you're right, kind of a thing.
Yeah. I don't always agree.
No.
But I feel like I'm going to hit that age eventually where it's, wow, you were right all along.
Yeah, I know you will, because I hit that with my mom. I went to Omi and I was like, Omi, I'm so sorry. I really should have listened to you on some of these things. And
you were right all along. And I don't know why I ever doubted you. I do know why I ever doubted you, but you were right all along.
That's right. That's right. All right. Hey guys, we're going to be right back. We're about to go to a commercial break. My son and I, we're going to give you guys some more insight on communicating with your son or daughter. I mean, this applies for both. So stay tuned. Parents in general. Yes. All right. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379, or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
You're listening to Joco Community Radio.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Thank you for staying tuned. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 24/7 on the TuneIn Radio Network. TuneInJoco.com is the place to find all the ways to listen and watch, and the station app is also available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more at JocoCommunityRadio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep at 844-839-4245. That's 844-839-4245. Be sure to dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com. All right.
You think you're going to get to a point where you actually memorize that?
I think so. Possibly. I don't know. With our memory.
Your memory. My memory is fantastic.
Is it?
I'd like to think so.
Okay. Yeah, my memory is great. It's getting better.
When it comes to numbers, I have a very good memory.
Oh yeah, you're like the number. When I need math, I could just call him. Like if I need any kind of math skills, like it's all him. Like he got all the math skills.
I've been using a lot of math skills. I've been helping Taylor out with some of her college math, and there's a lot of it that I was like, I forgot what that is.
So it's a lot of stuff that you've already learned, but you've already forgotten some of it. Is that what it is?
Like algebra 1, algebra 2
Okay.
kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
Maybe advanced placement algebra 2. I remember everything from physics.
Oh, yeah, of course you do. Of course you do. I even got him a shirt. What does that shirt say? Now I can't even remember what that shirt says that I got you, that physics shirt.
I will spontaneously combust into talking about physics or something.
Yeah,
like that.
something like that. Yeah.
I don't know. And I have the mug that talks about the second order time independent non-degenerate perturbation theory.
Yes, you do have that.
Technically isn't like high school physics. It's more of
it's more like science, like scientific, like way above that.
It's senior in college physics.
Okay.
Physics 4, I guess.
Senior in college physics. Okay. So I want us to finish up a little bit. Okay. And then I need to you might need to move it close. Okay, there you go. All right. So I want us to finish up talking a little bit more about, what your experience a little bit more in Harlingen, because I do feel that, let's say that if a parent was asking you about your experience and, if you felt this would help with their son, how would you approach that? How would you approach that conversation?
It's good for everybody.
Right.
it's not like there is so many ways to improve yourself. Even if you don't feel like you need to improve yourself, it's so many ways to have fun.
Right. I like that.
And it doesn't matter if you're a bad kid or people think you're a bad kid and you're really not.
Yeah. And elaborate on that. So I can understand that, because I do feel that there are, young adults out there that have been given this bad rep, but it's not necessarily them just being a bad kid. So how would you explain that on what approach that really quick with us?
So there are bad kids out there.
Yes.
And it's not always fun or nice to say.
But is it bad or good? We don't know yet, right?
Everybody can change.
Absolutely.
Everybody can change.
Absolutely.
Kids who act out, there might be a reason for them acting out. It could be stuff at home. It could be stuff going on in school. It could be friends. It could be, anything.
Right.
Kids who act out because they think it's fun, or they want to act out, and it's not really, they have things going great for them, but they just want to act out. That could also be stuff going on at home. It might not be bad stuff going on at home, but it just might not be the right stuff going on.
Right.
And then there are kids who aren't necessarily bad. They make mistakes and they feel bad for it, or they're told that they're bad for it. And that's really hard. And that's really challenging. Being told that you're a bad kid, when you previously didn't think that you were, where you knew that you made a mistake and you were ready to fix it, but you were told that you were a bad kid for making the mistake, and it kind of gets in your mind.
Right.
Especially whenever it happens to be parents talking to you. Communication with child is just as important as the child communicating with a parent.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
And I feel like it's hard on both ends, but I feel like it's harder for the kid to communicate with the parent depending on the circumstance.
Yeah.
In military school, communication was not an option. It was an obligation. You had to communicate, or else you'd be face first on the ground doing push-ups. That's just how it was. You communicated with your roommate, your headmates, everybody upstairs, everybody downstairs. You communicate with your company. You communicated with people outside your company because you could.
Yeah.
We had like get-togethers. We had runs and stuff. We do a 10-mile run. We do a 20-mile hike. We went around the airport of Halligan. We went 20 miles out and came on the way back. And, at some point you usually stay like in a line with your company, but there were times whenever you'd have like people falling behind and stuff. And if you're in the back, which we usually were in the back, you had people falling behind. You had no idea who they were. You had no idea which company they were in. It was organized by age. So we were the second oldest, the only kids older than us. Well, I guess we were the third oldest. You had kids older than you falling behind. And the younger kids, the kids from Foxtrot, were behind us. You had older kids falling behind. Not everybody was good at hikes. Not everybody was good at running it. You didn't expect that.
Right.
The people up front, the people up like working it, they didn't expect it either. They knew it was going to happen. That's the whole point of it.
Yeah.
You just had to pat them on the back and you had to just drag them along. You had to like be encouraging. You had no idea who they were. That's just
how you had to do it.
Positive communication. You just had to do it.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I feel for you and I've given you more positive communication than anything else. I know there was a time when I was going through some things that I was probably not the best at communicating with you and Noah. And I do remember that, but I do feel like later, after recognizing that and being more aware of that, that's when I started to really focus more on being more positive with you guys in my communication with you. I remember doing wall sits.
Oh man.
When you guys would do something that you weren't supposed to do, we'd have to do wall sits. Or if you weren't going to tell me who did it, it was wall sits. Kind of like a Malcolm in the Middle situation.
Yeah. The one thing that prepared me for military school was whenever I would do something wrong, it would be either, at least in Dad's side, it would be either push-ups, it would be wall sits, it would be, something physical, something strenuous, like a run. I don't know.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of push-ups. I mean, it makes sense.
I think I mostly just did wall sits for you guys. I was like, okay, go do some wall sits. I'll tell you when you're done.
And being put in the corner.
Yeah.
Whenever you're at a younger age.
Yeah.
Had no effect on me.
Right. No, it did not.
And sometimes I pretended like it did because it was just easy. Standing in the corner.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll just sit here and I'll think.
Right.
I can do that.
Uh-huh.
And eventually, after a little, I'd be like, okay, I've been sitting here for quite a while. Dad, can I get out? Make him think that I don't want to be here. Dad, can I get out? Stick your nose back in the corner. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
I remember those days.
when I was found out, or when I was too old to be put in the corner, that's whenever push-ups started happening and all that.
Yeah.
And when push-ups started happening, I was not in the best shape. Let's see, I was 115 pounds from 9 to 12.
Yeah, you started to get a little chunky.
I was a little chunky, yeah.
You were a little chunky.
I have a baseball picture from whenever I was in the little league baseball, Diamondbacks.
Yes.
I was really chunky, man. You wouldn't recognize me. Doing those push-ups was hard. I could barely do 10 push-ups in a row.
You can still recognize you a little bit, but yeah.
I could barely do 10 push-ups in a row.
Right.
Now I can do plenty of push-ups in a row.
Of course.
And after having that experience, it made me look at the kids in military school and see how they were struggling. I'm like, okay, I gotta help these guys out. So sometimes when people would get in trouble and I wasn't the one putting them in trouble, because I would hardly ever make anybody do push-ups or anything. I would usually just talk to them and tell them to stop. If they didn't stop, then I'd do my best to tell them they get down. But if they didn't stop the first time, there's no way they're gonna get down and do push-ups. There was one kid who did it.
Right.
One. And I was like, okay, I guess that worked out. Usually I'd have to get like a CI or something. CI Gonzalez, he was really fun. He was my height, a lot skinnier than I was, little Mexican kid. He was funny, but he definitely knew how to yell. And he put
a lot of voice.
He put some kid on his face, and I stood there with him. I kind of like kneeled down while he was doing push-ups, and I was like, "You knew this was gonna happen, right?" He's like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Did you want it to happen?" He's like, "No." And I was like, "So why'd you do it?" And he kind of just sat there quietly for a minute, still doing push-ups, and he paused. And Gonzalez looked at me and he started walking away. And I was like, "You're not done doing push-ups. He said that you had to do 50, didn't he?" He's like, "What are you at?" And he's like, 7. We'll keep going. You're not done yet. And so he was doing push-ups, and I was like, "So is it worth it yet?" He said, "It wasn't worth it at the beginning. So why are you on the ground?" And he paused for a minute, and I said, "Don't pause. Keep going. You're almost there. You're getting close. After you're done, are you going to make the same mistake again?" He said, "I don't know." No, I said, "Are you going to make the same mistake again?" He said, "No." Good. Go ahead and get up. I said, "I have 10 more. Then finish them."
That was awesome. Okay, so do you feel like that? Do you feel like those kids, like that, they had like a huge impact on wanting to actually maybe go home to their parents and maybe look at things and rethink things on how they were with their parents, or maybe how they were in general?
Absolutely. We had
That's
so we
awesome.
had breaks where we would get to come home, and I got to take the plane for the first time that I remember taking a plane. I know there was that trip to California when I was 2,
Yeah.
which I don't remember.
No,
for
you
some
don't remember
reason.
that one. Probably not. You were little.
I remember some things. I don't
I'm gonna
remember
take
that.
you again. Don't worry. We'll go again.
Deal.
We got to go see Opa before he moves here.
Yes.
Yes, I got
I'll
you.
hold you up on that one.
Okay.
Kids came back and they were like, "Man, I had a great time with my family. Like I haven't had a good time like that. They saw so much improvement in me." I'm like, "That's awesome. I'm glad. I'm
Yep.
glad that you could find improvement in your life and with your family." And a lot of people would comment on about the communication between their family.
That's really good.
One of the things I think that was going on with a parent was that parents were feeling a little guilty for sending their kids there. They're
Yeah.
like, "Man, you're probably hating it there and all that." And, they felt bad. So whenever the kid came back and they had been enjoying it and they're having a good time, the parents and kids kind of reconnect a little bit.
Oh, I see.
The parents and kids are
Yes.
missing each other.
Yeah.
The parents are thinking they did wrong. And whenever the kid comes back better than they were before, enjoying it, and with the missing each other for sure, it's like a
Yeah.
reconnection.
Oh,
And
see.
that really helped with communication.
I think that's awesome. I think sometimes the separation between a parent and a child, though, for a few months or whatnot, I feel like that is important too, though, because it does make that both miss each other. So when they do get back, they do have that option and opportunity to reconnect. I would
And
feel that that's huge,
yeah,
because I
absolutely.
know
And
I missed the heck out of you.
yeah,
I
it
wanted
does
to see you so
it does
bad.
get a chance for the kid to be more independent.
Yeah, it does.
And there's a lot of independence that you get in the military school. Not really the camp, but the school for sure.
Right.
And
And I saw a huge impact in you, and with you, like when you got back to, I saw the confidence, like there
Yeah,
was definitely
that-
more of a confidence build.
that was all about being in a leadership role. I felt like I could do anything. I could take on the world. And so I
Yes.
started trying new things. I got into magic.
Yes. And I love that. He does so great with magic, guys. I'm going to have him come back, and those that are watching will be able to see it. So you'll have to make sure you tune in and actually watch him. But we'll do like some card tricks and like some ring tricks. He impressed everybody that was there at the fundraiser that we
The
had
masquerade
recently.
party.
Yeah. That you were my DJ for. You did an excellent job with that too. And singing.
It was pretty easy to do. It was just, putting music on
Yeah.
and letting it play.
Yeah. And then you sang though. That wasn't very easy,
We
but
don't
you
need
did
to
it.
talk about that one.
You did so great though. You were singing amazing.
You sang with me.
I did. I sang with you.
And then what's his name? Terrible.
Cody. Yeah.
He had a really good voice.
He did.
What was the one song that we played? In My Arms Instead?
Yes. Oh gosh, that was
a
so
great one.
good.
That was
Y'all
a great
did
one.
so good together. I'm so excited about this Thursday because we're gonna go out to karaoke night, and Brittany and Cody are going with us.
Oh man.
Yes, and he's gonna sing with you again. He said he would, so I'm gonna hold him up to that.
I guess it's gonna happen. I'm turning again.
You're squeaking.
Okay.
But that one, I don't feel like we really touched base on that one question though. Like, so, well, we are somewhat, but I really want to, I want for the young ones that are listening, the young boys or young girls that are listening, to really understand the importance that, it is for them to also just open up with your parents more. I feel that's a big deal, just to be able to feel like you can and how you need to get there.
For that, I have 1 to 2 things to say.
Okay.
Number 1, the work you put into something is the worth that you'll get out of it.
There you go. Love that.
It is not always easy, not always the most, it's not always something you want to do to open up to your parents. Sometimes it's easier to just not talk about it.
Right.
It's usually better to talk about it though. Put in that work to try to communicate with your parents.
Yeah.
You'll get the effort, you'll get the worth out of it that you put into it.
Absolutely. I love that.
I know that for me at a young age, communicating with dad or with Kelly was not the easiest thing in the world for me to do. So I just didn't do it. And it wasn't necessarily bad for me, but it wasn't the best. I feel like it could have been a lot better if I had learned to communicate, if they had been willing to communicate back.
Right.
But for me, it kind of just like gave me a little bit more self-awareness. Because I realized that in times when I don't want to depend on other people, I have to be able to at least depend on myself.
Absolutely.
And that's what gave me a lot of motivation, because I was always terrible at doing my homework.
Yes.
I still procrastinate. For sure.
Yeah, you gotta stop that. Don't do that. You don't want to fall into that same trap. Your mama does that too much. I mean, you definitely got that from me too. You got some good and the bad.
I always get it done, but
Yeah.
I procrastinate quite a bit.
Yeah.
And there was one point where I was like, I'm tired of people telling me to do my homework.
Yeah.
What do? Well, I do it before they can tell me to do it.
That's right.
Surprise them. That feeling of like kind of beating the game.
Yeah.
Nathan, do your homework. It's already done. Go clean the bathroom. Dang it. So getting into that habit of doing my homework before being told to do my homework.
Yeah.
That was a big plus. I got my homework done a lot faster. Got my homework done better.
Right.
Gave me a chance to really look at things, to really learn stuff. And then whenever I started learning things and I started getting better at things, I was improving. I was doing better in class, and doing good in school is fun.
I believe that.
Not a lot of people will think of it that way, but doing good in school is fun.
I think changing your mindset to that too is actually really helpful and beneficial too, to get you through it.
Loving something makes it so much easier.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Physics and math, for me, absolutely love it. Easiest class I've ever taken.
Right.
I ended up in advanced placement physics 2 for my senior year of high school with the most amazing teacher I've ever had, Miss Loveland. We did tons of labs, tons of really cool experiments and stuff. And I would always try to find some question that I could ask. Always try to find some question. Why does this work like this? What if you did this for this and came up with, this conclusion? It was fun.
Yeah.
And it was easy because it was fun. It was that want. I want to do this. I want to get better at it. I want to memorize things. I can tell you a whole bunch of random numbers of random things right now that had to do with physics.
I bet you could. Like, I remember the most impressive moment with you. There was a lot of them, but this is one of them. And you had this piece of paper, and you just started writing out the infinity.
The infinity?
The infinity equation.
Infinity equation.
Wasn't it infinity? I want to say you said it was an infinity equation. Like it just keeps going. It just keeps going.
Oh,
It's
the
the
Fibonacci sequence?
Yes, thank you.
1,
That
1,
one.
3, 5, 8,
I was
13,
close.
21, 34,
But yeah, he could
72.
put these things down on paper and just go to town with it. And I was like, what?
And
Like,
it's not like I have.
Where did you come from?
I like thinking and believing that I have an amazing memory has really helped me have an amazing memory.
Oh, of course. Yeah, it's all mindset. Everything is mindset. And I think I don't know if that came from me. I mean, I want to think it came from me, but I know that when I started to be more aware of my mind and more aware of the things that I could, I took away my limitations. And I feel when I started doing that, I started to implement that with you and Noah. And I started to, explain it to you guys how it worked. And I remember one time when you guys were there with me, we were talking to Noah. Noah was talking negatively about some kid at school. And I said, well, you don't know what that kid's going through.
Yeah.
And I said, let's look at it a different way. Let's look at it this way. Okay, how does that make you feel to look at it that way? And that really opened up his eyes and his mind to, okay, maybe I shouldn't be that harsh to that kid because I really don't know what he's going through. He might just need me to be there and listen to him. So I hope that's what he did.
Yeah.
I hope so. Noah's a little different, but that's okay. And yes, the law of attraction. So everything is a law of attraction. And that's what I feel like I tried to, share with you guys the most is how that impacted me. And I hope it impacted you guys when I started to really be more aware of the things that I could not change, but the things that I could. And that was me. I have the capability of, changing my mind, but I can't change others. But I can share with others how it works for me and how it's been an impact and such an amazing life change and journey for myself. So I feel like I tried to put that on, express that to you guys as much. And I feel like you've started picking up on it. And so it's really awesome. Like I'm really excited.
So gravity works one way.
Yeah.
Gravity is an attraction.
It is.
When you're thinking of the law of attraction, I think of gravity. It has an infinite reach.
Yeah.
You could have something that is an infinite amount of miles away, and gravity from Earth is still connecting to that. Really, really small, but it's still there. After an infinite amount of time, eventually it'll be pulled closer. The gravity, in this sense, is you. You can reach everything. Some things are a lot farther away than what you can get to right away. You just have to, put in the work and the effort and wait. You just be patient. And eventually, the never-ending reach that you have will get what you want.
That's right. Everything happens in time.
Everything happens in time.
Everything will happen. Like everything I want to happen will happen in time.
Everything ends up going my way.
Yeah. Everything goes my way in time. That's right. Everything goes my way in time. Now I wasn't even saying it right.
But for things to go your way, you have to want them to go your way. You have to make them go your way. You have to decide that they are going to go your way.
Right. You have to believe it, feel it, and make it happen. Like you have to, like you're right. You have to put forth the work.
Absolutely.
It's all the work that you put towards it.
Nothing worth getting comes easy.
No, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. And everything you do in one thing is how you do it in everything else.
Yeah. And once you put in a large amount of work for something and you get that reward, that feeling of, wow, I put in all this effort and this is what I got out of it. It's really like it builds a habit. You want to put in the effort.
Yeah, absolutely.
So start off with something small, work your way up.
I like, and that's very true. I've heard this, actually one of my life coaches, one of my favorite life coaches who I need to reach out to, but he is phenomenal. And one of the things that he has, he has addressed with me that really serves me is if you try to put big goals out there and you try to reach those and you don't see the, what's the word I'm looking for? Having trouble with my words this morning, Nathan.
It's Monday.
It's Monday.
Did you finish your coffee?
Yeah, I did. I might need it. Oh wait, nope. I still got some coffee. But if you don't see results, if you're not seeing results because you've reached for such a high, big goal that is maybe not obtainable in that amount of time, right? So now that you're not seeing the results, you just lose it. You just stop trying to get that, to try. Your motivation for it may start to lack, right? And the efforts you put towards towards it might start to decrease because you're not seeing the results. And our human nature, we want to see results right now, right?
Absolutely.
So
Being patient
definitely
is hard.
striving. Yeah. Oh, being patient is so hard. But striving, putting a smaller goal and putting these smaller goals and implementing those first to reach that higher goal is really where it's at. That's where you're going to reach those bigger and more, the ones that you have the biggest dreams towards, the ones that are maybe the hardest ones to achieve, but they're not hard unless you put that they're hard. So
Yeah.
try to reach for those smaller goals first and then start to.
And I can't say that you're going to reach every goal that you put your mind to.
No.
And that's the next thing you have to do is you have to deal with failure because
Yeah.
it's going to happen.
Yeah. And failure actually gets you to where you want to be eventually, because failure is what should be your motivation. It's not failure so much as, you know what? I had a rock in the road. Okay.
Yeah.
I got over that rock. Now I'm going to get over the next one.
I think Albert Einstein once said something about failure. He said that you only fail when you stop trying.
That's right.
You only fail when you give up.
Yep.
So dealing with your mistakes, dealing with the mishaps, with the things that have gone wrong, dealing with them is already winning.
That's right.
Don't give up. Don't fail.
That's right.
Giving up is the worst thing that you could possibly do. You're literally giving away yourself to whatever you have struggled on.
Right. That's right. You've given the control over.
If you've started on it, giving up is just pointless. You've already put in that beginning effort. You've already put in some time. You might as well just keep going, whether or not it sucks, whether or not it's hard, whether or not it just doesn't matter to you anymore. Finish it because you can. Finish it because you should.
That's right.
Finish it because you should not give up.
Right. So true.
And
So
there is no exceptions for that one. Giving up is pointless.
No, it is. It's pointless. Like you want to strive, continue. And that's what happened. Like, so when you finally do achieve it, just think of that. Always put yourself in thinking, okay, when I have this goal and I achieve this goal, it throughout all the failures or whatnot, once I achieve it, just think about how you're going to feel then. Stay focused on that feeling and keep that feeling and hold on to that feeling through the failures and everything, because that feeling, everything is emotions. Our emotions that we put into things are how things end up turning out. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you put an emotion on that it's going to happen, and you see yourself and you visualize yourself after it's happened and how happy you are and how, good you feel about yourself and that confidence that just built up because of it, that's what's going to, if you stay there and you stay focused on that, that's what's going to help you achieve that much faster too.
Absolutely.
Yes. All right. So we have a little bit more time left. I do want to touch on one thing. I have a very, 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 very good friend. He is 20 years old, and I'm not going to go too much into detail because I don't want to, put his family out there, unless his family wants to. But this family needs prayers. He's in the hospital right now. And I'm not going to go into too much detail, but he's very close to my heart. He's very close to my husband's heart. And if you guys could just pray for him and his family, put positive energy out there for him, I would really appreciate that. We love you guys. Thank you, Nathan, for being on my show. I loved it. You did so great. Oh, I'm so proud of my kid, guys. All right. I hope you guys have better communication with your kids and have a great week. See you next time. Bye.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio. At Romika Designs, we're more than just a laser engraving and specialty design company, much more. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs, and if you can dream it, we can probably make it. We can custom laser cut and engrave on nearly all material. Great for one-of-a-kind gifts, home decor, business and specialty items, or personalized and logo designs created just for you or your company. Allow us to become your go-to gift and specialty project partner. Romika Designs can help make your ideas a reality. We're ready to help you design and create that special gift for any